I mean, I like Zale.
Okay.
I don't... What?
I just thought that was the end of the sentence. I mean, I like Zale.
I mean, that is how I end a sentence.
All right, welcome back to the last story. In the last part, we said goodbye to Lisa, our fond farewells.
Ready to go?
And now we're getting prepped because we got guard duty at Lazarus Castle. Starting positive, I like it. Just, hey.
Lazarus Castle. Count
Here we are.
abode.
Count Argonon's abode.
Was but 1 month away, and the whole castle was filled with excitement and anticipation.
This is the upper class of Lazarus.
I can tell by how they're all lurched forward with their hands in front of their mouths.
Such a momentous
Telling secrets.
Why is a raven like a writing desk? I do say, dear child.
I looked that up once, and I don't remember what the answer is. So I'm going to look it up again.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I'll tell you, this Argonon chap
Let's
is
just
no
make sure
slouch.
Seren behaves herself.
Stop gawping like an idiot.
That's right, you tell her,
to
Yurik.
start soon. There could be feuding nobles
Oh.
together in the same place.
Because it can produce a few notes.
Ah, okay.
It happens.
Sure thing. So,
Gotcha.
Ryan, try not to show off your complete lack of class, eh?
Shut your pile. You're fine wanted to.
Because it can produce a few notes, though they are very flat, and it is never put with the wrong end in front,
What's up?
Okay.
I was
is
just
the
thinking,
full answer.
I've got a long way to go.
Well, well.
Ah, you mean the knights? They're in a different league to us.
I feel like that has aged poorly.
Mercenaries.
Okay.
Not in like, oh, it's an offensive thing now. It's just like, no one gets it.
Yeah. Probably why I didn't get it.
Dream on,
Yeah.
I was like, alright, if you say so.
follow me, and I swear I'll make knights out of all of you.
I know you will.
So the big scar on the one guy's neck is a
I need to
giant
sort
X,
out
and I'm
a few
like,
things here before
X
we
marks
go.
the spot, stab him in the neck.
Go take a look around.
Must be one of the ones you don't like.
The castle might come in handy.
I mean, there's so many. So many to choose from.
I mean, I like Zale.
Okay.
I don't... What?
I just thought that was the end of the sentence. I mean, I like Zale.
I mean, that is how I end a sentence. My inflections are always kind of off. Like, there's no period at the end of my sentence
My
when I
dad
speak.
was like that at work, and like the one roofer would be like, guess that's the end of that story.
But no, I was going to say, I like Zale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Dagran. I just don't understand why they follow him so blindly.
Okay.
Can you tell me what colour dress Lady Callista will be wearing? I'm sorry.
Moran, yeah.
I don't, we haven't, like, interacted with her, like, at
right.
all.
All right. Lisa.
I do like Lisa.
All right.
She's kind of dumb as a bag of rocks, but...
The only character I dislike is little sick Warren.
I'm gonna be a warrior!
Just like I'm offended. I'm offended at this inaccurate portrayal of Warrens everywhere. But here we go. Here's a library. And it's actually a technologically advanced library because that big old sphere in the center gives you access to like all the data.
The data.
Mm-hmm.
Is it data or data?
Whatever you want it to be. What's with those weird little twins? They look like Kingdom Hearts
Come
rejects.
play with us!
But no, this giant sphere. Gather round, kiddies, it's time for a history lesson. Argonon and the Sorceress. It was here on this island that I first met that beautiful sorceress. My search for a way to end the war ravaging this land led me to the rite of celestial summoning. This rite enables its user to call a great force from beyond the sky and make its tremendous power their own. and it is said that only the sorceress has ever succeeded in mastering this rite. The sorceress was once an ordinary human being who, fuck it, no, read it for yourself. I'm not doing that anymore.
Pause the video and read it. Well,
Pause the video.
I know, because you read it in your head, and reading in your head
Sometimes I
goes
read out loud.
faster than when you read out loud.
Yes. So there you go. And here's History of the Empire. Just read for yourself. I'm done.
History of the World, Part 1.
I don't get paid for this.
I don't get paid for this. Yeah, I had no idea this was even here. I did not go into a library.
Well, like, if I really wanted to do voiceover for these playthroughs, what I could do is just like be quiet and then record them in post.
Yeah.
And then slap it on up over there. I feel like that's a way I could do it, but do I
Yeah.
want to put that much effort into a Gaming Cats and Dogs episode?
Yeah.
Like, we battle with this numerous times, but it's just like, if there's one bit of popcorn that I'm going to be like, fuck perfection, it's going to be
this
the Gaming
one,
Cats and
yeah.
Dogs where we're just sitting,
Talking.
yeah, basically the time capsules of our relationship.
Time capsule.
Shut up. Time capsules
The
of
time
our
cat-
relationship.
Time cat? Where's the time cat?
I don't know. Where'd the time cat go?
She's in the past. Just hear the steady beating of a hammer in the distance. Okay, so they're counting that as 3 pages when technically there are definitely 5 pages here.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really know what they're doing. But there we go. That's the history of the Empire. So if you ever want to know the lore behind the world of like Lazarus Island and how it came to be, because you're so interested in the last story, there you go. All right, so you can come back here frequently every so often and get new pieces of information, pieces of history. If you're into that stuff, you're not, so we will not be returning here. Alrighty, moving right along.
I am if I like what's going on.
Elegant maids in this castle.
Does
Hair's all pretty too.
speaking of games you like, does Ys have moments where you can like get into like the lore of the island and like the history and stuff like that? Okay.
We learn a lot
You
of
have
that.
book full of like the monsters and like
Yes.
the things you encounter.
So we learn a lot of that when we go back in time with Donna, and just like learning what happened, because they lived alongside the primordials, the like dinosaur creatures.
Yeah.
But we do get into like lore of the island through the past, and
Okay.
also certain things that they're finding in the present where Donna's like, oh, I remember.
Okay.
So
Okay, so it's kind of piecing it together in a memento
Yes.
fashion.
And then we also have like they find little notes on the island that were written by like pirates that landed on the island.
That's right, I
So
do
it's
remember
like-
that.
There are like
'Cause that
different
starts early on.
pieces. Yeah, there are different pieces of history found on the island that you piece together over the course of the game that kind of like build this history
Mm-hmm.
of what happened, like different people that have died there that have like crashed and not made it off. And
So let me ask this question, like to address like the RPGs we're developing in the future, how would you do world building?
Little island end up with a castle as grand.
Would you have like pages of things that you can read to learn more about the history?
How did the rulers
I think those things are a lot of fun. Just because I don't know that I would like it if it was mandatory.
Okay.
But I think that it's like if you stumble upon a little piece of history of that world and you read it and you're just like, oh, and it makes maybe playing easier, like it's easier to understand,
Yeah.
but not necessarily required, like you would figure it out eventually.
Okay.
I like the idea of that.
Oh, surprise, surprise. Seren's arguing with someone.
Shocker.
And that is what you are, is it
This
not?
guy called her a mercenary. He used it as a slur.
Your delightful manners are just what one would expect from a
I mean, she is a mercenary.
That's basically what he said. Well, that's what you are you not?
That's like if you hire a hooker and then you go, wow, what a hooker.
General Astar.
And they get mad after you've paid them for their acts.
I feel like Dave Chappelle had the best answer to that, where it's just like, whoa, just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a hooker. And he's like, which is true, but a little confusing. He's like, because imagine if I'm dressed up as a cop. You're like, oh, officer, thank God, you gotta help us. Hold on now. Just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a cop.
Sure, whatever. You've killed the dude now anyway.
I just figure if you are, you should probably just accept it. Because I just don't like her.
All right.
This day is a joyous one.
And that is fair.
To enjoy it.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I don't like her either.
I feel like she's gonna have some weird tragic backstory that doesn't excuse her actions right now, but like tries to make you
Towards
feel
the
bad.
end of the game,
and it's
she's
kind of like,
fine.
ugh.
But I never much been like, oh yeah, she's my spirit animal,
Yeah,
or like
no.
anything to where I'm just like, you got to play it for this character. She's just like, eh. She's fine. She's not my favorite character. She's not my least favorite character. I'm gonna be meeting my least favorite character shortly.
Oh.
Yeah, which means you've met him.
Oh.
Yeah, because this is the last part that you played up to.
that I've played. So like I did play through this. I did not go to the library. I didn't know there was a library that I could go to.
Well, now you do. There's a nice little library if you want to get up on all that juicy lore about the history of Lazarus Island. I like this guy, though. General Ashtar. He's kind of old-fashioned.
I don't remember him, so if that gives you any indication.
We haven't met my favorite character yet either, though.
Oh.
Yeah, so both my least favorite and my favorite are going to be either in this episode or the next episode.
Okay.
The knights I see here are totally devoid of aspirations. Indeed, the mercenary we just met seemed much more adept as a swordsman.
Yeah, I think that's like the main thing with the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't much care for the characters themselves, like who they're portrayed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I didn't like Loxia either. When I started playing Ys, I was like, oh, this bitch. And I'm like, they're going to make her grow throughout the story, and I know I'm going to like her. And now I do like her.
Mm-hmm. I like her glasses.
Yeah.
I think it just like, makes her look
cute.
so cute.
Yeah, it is really cute. Especially because they're costume glasses. She's like, I don't need to wear these, but like, they remind me of my dad. Oh, yeah, it's really cute.
Okay, I thought it was just an aesthetic. They wouldn't even do anything about it.
Well, what happens is Adol finds them. He gives them to her, and it increases her
vision.
Her likability. It increases Adol's like overall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because he'll give gifts to them.
Okay.
Just like, hey, this made me think of you.
Huh.
So, and she went through this like backstory about her dad and how he wore these kind of glasses, and she's like, I'm gonna wear them. They make me think of my dad.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I don't much like care for the characters, but I also just don't. I don't understand why, like, if being a mercenary is so frowned upon and they hate it so much, why are you doing it? Like, I think that's the part that's just the hardest for me to grasp.
Well, they're trying to be knights. They dream of becoming knights, but like it's a tall order to become a knight.
Yeah.
Whereas a mercenary is kind of like customer service.
But what I'm saying here
Why are
is
you
like,
doing
if
it? Well,
it's
it's a living.
like, if it's so looked down upon and they're like the scum of the earth here.
Yes.
That's like me saying like, oh, I want to be in the army, so I'm going to walk around outside with nunchucks and just beat people. And then I'll eventually get into the army. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think I'm the right person to explain it, but I think
Yeah.
you're getting the wrong idea.
I think so too, but that's what I get from this. Like,
Okay.
that's how it's portrayed to me, is like, they want to become knights, so they're going to do something that's kind of similar to it, but that's like trash.
Right.
Like, it's super looked down on, but it's like, well, I mean, we're doing the same thing as knights, even if everyone thinks we're complete garbage.
Okay.
Okay, well, then why are you doing it? Why wouldn't you just go and try to be a knight? And it's like, I understand, like, story building, like, they're probably going to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I like the structure of how it's all being introduced
Okay.
in a story-wise.
Gotcha.
Near the top of the stairs.
Because it's the same as, like, if mercenaries are such shit people, why were they hired to be guards at this, like, classy event.
I feel it's the same as like Witchers. Like Dagran managed to pull some strings.
But it's like even Witchers don't work that way.
No?
No. Like Witchers aren't like hired to be bodyguards at like classy events. Like they still don't like Witchers.
Yeah. When
you know what
Geralt
I mean?
was at the ball, what was the situation there?
He was a guest.
He was just a guest?
He was with Yeskir.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he was invited.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was a guest.
Okay.
And even when she saw him, she was like, "Get the fuck out of my ball."
Mm.
And
Okay.
that's when he was like, "No, I'm a guest here."
Okay. Oh? I don't know what that was
I don't think
about.
I've ever seen her do that before.
Well, she like hugged the rail and then
And
she
yowled.
yowled. And now she's gone.
Um,
We're on duty.
All
Yeah,
right, so we're
so-
on guard duty. So we
I
literally
think
just
that's-
walk around and watch the ball.
again, and like I understand, it just sets them up so that they're here.
Mm-hmm.
It gives them a reason to be here. But if they're so looked down on,
Mm-hmm.
why would like a royalty type family of like this high class group
Mm-hmm.
of people be like, yeah, we definitely want mercenaries to guard us because they're such reputable people, you know?
Okay.
Like, I just don't understand the story of why they would be there.
Okay. See, I know the answer, but I can't say. Because it ties in later.
Well, I feel like it has to do with Lisa.
Yeah. That's part of it.
But it's just like, I would much rather have it make sense now
Okay.
than like waiting another 4 hours
4 hours. You're being generous.
to another 18 hours of playing the game to understand the story.
Okay.
And while I get that works for a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
like I know Phil loves this game and I can see where the enjoyment is. I really can.
Yeah.
It's just not for me.
Okay.
Like it just doesn't hold my attention. Like I need answers sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very much delayed gratification when it comes to story.
Gotcha.
He's got cunning and guile too.
Well, I feel like it just builds intrigue and like you want the questions answered,
Yeah.
so you're gonna get into the next episode and the one
Yeah.
after that.
So and it's like, well, I feel I probably
Keeps
will
you
enjoy
playing.
the story whenever it's done
Mm-hmm.
because you're playing it and I don't have to put the time into playing it. I just get to watch the episode.
Yeah.
So I probably will enjoy the story when it's over because I tend to do that. It's the same as when we played Partners in Time. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I really like this game too much. And by the end, I was like, oh my God, shrooms! Like, so I tend to enjoy things as they go on.
Yeah.
Shantae.
Yeah, that's
But-
proof. Oh, here she is. Lady Kali... Hang on, I got a beam in my way. Got a pillar. Here we go. Lady Callista.
Just for anyone who's wondering, boobs don't move like that in real life. Just so you know.
Alrighty. Especially if she has a strong corset.
Yeah.
Obviously, the corset's not doing the job. Hey, she looks familiar. That's my least favorite character.
Oh, yeah.
Her betrothed Jarrell, he's just so one note and just like... I was expecting so much more from this character.
So this is your least favorite character because of like his development and his actual character, not because of his like actions as a villain.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Because he's just kind of like a weasel.
Yeah. Those tend to be my least favorite where I'm like, "Ugh, someone just kill it already.
Yeah. Because, like, there's moments where, like, I've seen this character done well. Where, like, they develop and, like, there is one, and I don't want to spoil, but, like, where it starts, this character starts out as the bully. And I swear to God, this character goes through depression and then becomes the best character of the whole fucking game. I love this character. I can't say it because it will spoil and you'll fixate as
what
soon
game
as you...
is it?
Can't say that either. Because you'll fixate, because you'll be like, oh, the bully, this is the character that you end up loving.
Do you always think that I'm going to do that and then I forget by the time we get there. And I'm just like, hey, I really like that character. And you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that one time I mentioned it 3 years ago. No.
All right.
So you don't actually listen to me, do you?
I feel like this was an actual conversation now.
I feel somewhat woozy.
This was you did that whenever you were like, I bet you can't guess my favorite Zelda game, and I was like, I don't even know what Zelda games there are. Like, you don't talk about them at all.
Then I'll give you a little hint. It's a Zelda game.
Okay.
That's why I'm so tight-lipped.
See, you saw it here first, puppers. So now every time we play a Zelda game, I'm gonna wonder. Just kidding. I'm actually probably gonna forget.
That's part of my concern about doing a Zelda game is like if we do Link's Awakening, I'm going to be so on railroad with Link's Awakening that you're going to be like, so what about the others? I'll be like, you'll find out. Oh, this reminds me of Majora.
And he just underestimates A, how easily I forget things, and B, how easily swayed I am, which is not very easily. Like, I will form my own opinions regardless of how I know you feel.
Okay.
Just knowing if you like it, I may not be as openly harsh.
Cats don't dance.
And I don't even think I was harsh with Cats Don't Dance.
You haven't said much of anything with Cats Don't Dance, which is, for me, worse. I don't know if we're waiting for the review or...
Well, yeah, there's
Okay.
that of like...
Okay.
But just, I mean...
But I'm scared.
For me, I don't have the nostalgic glasses for
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I get
so
it.
it's just like, it's not all that memorable for
Yeah.
me.
And no, I get it. I just, you haven't said much of anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Well, because I don't hate it, but I also don't love it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, I'm not going to go on and on and on about it if I'm just like, it's okay. Like, you know, if someone was like, hey, should I watch this? I'll be like, yeah, you know, it's a fine movie. Whereas if someone is like, you know, is this like, I'm not going to walk up and be like, oh my God, don't watch that piece of trash.
right.
But I'm also not going to go up to someone and be like, oh my God, you have to watch this movie.
So, like,
it's the best movie. It's a
here-
masterpiece.
So because of that, here's the thing. It's a me thing. If you were like that with a particular Zelda game, I'd be like, I don't know how to talk to this woman anymore. I've known her for 3 years. I don't know how to approach her now. I feel so betrayed.
I don't
And
know.
I know it's a
'cause-
me thing because like eventually we gotta rip off the Band-Aid because like
Yeah.
we got the first Zelda out of the way. So
and
you
I
like
really enjoyed
Zelda.
it. Yeah.
But like
So, but it's also like,
there's also a lot more Zelda.
Don't talk to me.
well, keep in mind, it's like that too with anime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's animes that we've watched and that like we've watched a few episodes that are some of my favorites, and you're just like, yeah, I don't really like it. I don't think differently of you because of it, even
Right,
though
right.
it's like, because we're different, you know, we
Yeah.
like different, and that's what makes it interesting. So
That
it's
is
like
true.
Devil is a Part-Timer
That's
is
why I
one of
said,
my
like, that's-
favorite animes, and you're just like, you know, I really didn't like it. And I'm just like, okay. Like, of course we talked about it. Like, well, what didn't you like about it? But I'm not like mad,
Gotcha.
you know? Black Butler is another one. I absolutely love that. And we're like 3 episodes in, and it's just like, well,
Right.
we'll watch something else first. So it's like, okay.
Gotcha. Alrighty, so they're having a nice little tender moment away from royalty and stuff like that. Once again, I'm getting Aladdin vibes. You feel so trapped. I like Aladdin.
What? If you don't want to get married, you should just
Alrighty.
refuse the offer.
But my uncle would never.
So yeah, surprise, surprise, she doesn't want to get married.
He only
Shocker.
looks for a position of power within the empire, then use his influence from behind the scenes. And he's willing to do absolutely anything to achieve that goal. Anything.
And her uncle's not very nice. He has an eye patch and everything.
My
Honestly, when I saw this guy, I thought he was like the actual like relative of Yurik. So spoiler, fuck, he isn't. Shit. Oh well. You
No.
just burst out just because was it the eye patch?
Yes, because you're like, her uncle's not a very nice guy. Like, he has an eye patch and everything. It's just like, now anytime I see someone with an eye patch, I'm going to be like, what type of person are you? Like, he's just not a very good person. He has an eye patch and everything. Peg leg, hook for
Listen.
hand. He's just full on pirate.
Characters with eye patches are never pleasant when it comes to fictional media.
Yeah.
happy with it.
They're always either like the battle-hardened just grump
They watch
or the antagonist.
Do you know why pirates wear an eye patch?
moment's peace.
I I forget. You told me. We've had this
Yeah.
conversation before,
So
but I'm
it's
blanking.
not actually because they are blind in one eye or
Yeah.
they've had damage to an eye. They keep one eye covered so a pupil is dilated at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, if they were to like go into a cave or something, they would actually switch their eye patch so that one eye stays dilated at all times, so that they can see in the dark.
They should address that in like a movie or something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's 6 Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think anybody switches an eye patch.
Well, like I think the one character that has an eye patch because he doesn't have an eye in that, like he has a glass eye.
Yeah, the glass eye. Yep. He has that fake eye.
But it's like the like historical pirates and sailors in general, they would have an eye patch to keep one eye dilated.
But like, I just think it'd be cool for a story to like address that. Like, on the boat, they have the eye patch, and then they go into a cave, they switch.
Yeah. Because I know that
And even
that
a character
was,
could be like, "Wait, why'd you do that?" It's just like, "Oh, it's to keep the eyes dilated, lad."
yeah, that explains it. And pirates are often like described as like ruthless barbarians when in fact they followed like a very strict.
Oh yes, they had a code.
Like, even with that though, like no drinking on the ship. You didn't drink on the ship. Like there was like they're portrayed as very like rough and tumble, but they were in fact like very strict with like bedtimes. You went to bed at a certain time, no exceptions.
Okay.
Like there was no drinking on the ships. There was like it was a very strict way of life. Because think about it, like if you're coming up on another ship and half your crew is drunk, do you really think you're going to be successful in raiding that ship?
Good point.
So like there was a lot of rules to be a pirate. So it's like the way that they're portrayed as like drunkards and, you know, just ruthless brawlers. That's not really how pirates worked at all. Which takes a lot of fun out of pirates, but I think it's very interesting.
That is, yeah.
Because
More
you
historically accurate.
often think of pirates as like, oh, I'm the like rule breaker on the island. I'm gonna go
Yes.
become a pirate, and it's like
Yep.
you break the rules as a pirate, and you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Very strict code. Uh-oh, we're under attack. It's the Garak. Alright, so he's just gonna whine and like piss away.
oh my god.
But now, things are getting good. Because the Garak are here.
Lord Dural, I'll hold them off here. You take Lady Callista somewhere safe.
This part pisses me off.
Oh, where he just like runs away.
Yup. He has just a moment of having just a little bit of redeeming quality. Go take her while I fend her off. All right, we'll settle this later, you scum. Something. He's just
Yeah.
like, fuck you both.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
like-
that though. I love that
yeah.
you can just knock them off the balcony.
Yeah.
Huh!
I remember like enjoying this part enough.
I can use magic.
Yay! She said a compliment on the last story.
Again, it's not like a scum of the world game. It really isn't. For me, it was too slow in getting the actual story started.
I understand this, but I feel like this is the most negative playthrough we've done so far, and I'm just like, hoof.
But like I keep saying, I think I've said it in everyone so far, is like I know that I'm probably going to end up enjoying it in the long run just because once the story actually gets started, that's when I'm more intrigued to continue.
And for me, this is where the story gets started.
And this is where I stop.
This is where you stop.
This is where I stopped playing. Is like right after this battle when she's like, I'm a healer. And I was like, and I'm done playing. Like,
Oh, is that the last
yeah.
straw?
She rips her dress up
Yep, she just did.
and
There we go. I'm ready to attend.
I told you.
Let's just stop and marvel while the entire
I
Garak
know.
is attacking your
they're
castle.
like, she's just like, I fixed my dress. He he he.
Just like, cute. You want to save your family?
But yeah, it was like after this battle, this is where I stopped playing.
Okay.
And when I said that, you were like, that's like literally when it starts getting good. And I was like, oh, well, it didn't start getting good quick enough.
So here we go, folks. To those watching, or have you tapped out because
Yeah.
the playthrough is just a little too negative for your taste? Do you feel like this is a suitable length to be like, hey,
And not just
I don't
in this
enjoy
game,
this.
like in any game. So this is what, part
Part 5.
5?
Yeah.
So part 5 of
So,
half an hour.
half an hour.
So I played for like 2.5 hours. For me, it was a little longer because it takes me a lot longer to find certain things and play through certain things. So I think I played for close to 5 hours.
Like, to compare, this would be like the end of the first Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you'll know by the end of Fellowship of the Ring whether you're a Lord of the Rings fan or
keep
not.
Going.
So that's where I'll give you like the benefit of the doubt to be like, 3 hours is like a significant amount of time to tell your story or at least set up your game.
Right. And it's while I do completely understand games have very different setups than like films and shows and things like that.
Yes.
Because it is longer. Like this is probably like a 50-hour game, something like that in its entirety.
30 to 40, yes.
So it's like 5 hours out of 30 hours.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like a whole lot. It's literally a sixth of the game.
Because, like, if you were to watch all the cutscenes, because I'm sure there's a YouTube video of, like, all the cutscenes and stuff, because they're usually called, like, the movies. It's big for, like, the Uncharted series. You can just watch the whole movie. They're, like, 3 hours long.
Right.
All the cutscenes, I think, for the last story, equates to close to 5 hours. And that's all the cutscenes in the game.
That's a lot of cutscenes.
That's a lot of story.
That's a lot of story.
It's the last one.
Ba-da-ping! But, so for me, like, as a storyteller myself and someone who loves stories and loves being immersed in a story, playing for around 5 hours, I feel like if it didn't hook me, it's not going to.
Yeah.
Which is unfair for a game.
Yeah.
And I do understand that's my mentality of like being a book reader. Like if I don't get hooked through the first 3/4 of a book, I'm probably not going to like the book.
Right. But, like, I do it too.
Yeah.
Like, this game worked for me, but there are games where, like, if, like, 3 or 4 hours, if, like, I'm not digging it, I'm just like, I'm not digging it.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, there has to be
but it gets good 25 hours in.
Yeah, there has to be a
happened
hook.
16 hours in.
Yeah, there has to be a hook somewhere in there that keeps you going, that is intriguing enough to make you want to keep playing. And it's like, for me, it just didn't happen in this game. And a lot of it, I understand, is me. It's not the game itself. We're about 2 hours into the game right now where I stopped playing, and I played for closer to 5 or 6 hours. So it took me longer to get things, which drags out the lack of story.
So did you meet my favorite character or not? Because you met my least favorite character. My favorite character is about to show up in a couple minutes.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who your favorite character is, so.
It's the one you meet in a couple minutes.
Okay. But also, I'm not a huge fan of the type of characters
you're presented
in this
with.
story in general. Like, I don't like drunkards. I don't like when a character is just doing nothing but talking about drinking and sex. And
I went to kiss the cat
and
I kissed the mic.
I saw that and I was like, okay. So it's just like those types of things where there are some characters that I do really like. You know, these two, for example, I do like them, but do I like them enough that I would deal with the characters I don't like?
Gotcha.
And the answer for that is no.
No. All right. Well, starting at the next part, we're going in blind for you.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to see the last story after the quitting point.
So I haven't seen past this. I did see this part. She changes out of her ball gown into like her costume.
Okay. Now we're taking the fight on the bridge.
I think I did do this.
Okay, so maybe a little bit in the next part you might have also done, because we're about to cut it short right here.
Yeah, I did do this part.
Because, like, this siege goes on for a little bit.
I know I didn't. I'm pretty sure I completed the siege.
Oh, you did complete the siege?
Yes.
All right, so it might be the next video. That's the last.
But then again, I was so aggravated in playing this that I may not even remember.
Fair enough. All right, you're not going anywhere, lady. You just joined the party. You can't pull that trick on me. Alrighty. So, in the next part, more last story.
And I promise I'll be less negative eventually. Toodles!